How do I get out of the rat race? How do I get a home? I believe that's every American's dream. And right now, if you look out there, it makes it look like it's impossible. Live below your means, always. No matter what, live below your means. Live 30% of your paycheck. Your neighbor might have the $100,000 truck. If you can't afford that right now, save back, put back, invest in investments so the investments pay for your liabilities. A lot of this education is not being taught in the school system because they want you to stay broke. I don't care. That's my belief. A lot of you might not believe in that, but I believe the world wants to keep you broke because they can have control over you. If they can keep control of you, you always have to come back to them. You always have to depend on them. Teach your kids to invest, live below your means, and educate them on the future. Home ownership is possible for the American dream.
It just helps production out back know exactly what your change orders are.
Welcome to the Tiny Home Podcast, the #1 podcast in the world. And today it's going to be an amazing topic. And we have Kyler today with us. Bro, this is a game changer podcast because it's something that we all have inside of us. It's kind of like intuition. However, I kind of want to have your insights and see what you think about everything. You know, I'm going to open up with the great question. And it's all about what actually changes when you take ownership of your space and not just where you're living, but how you're living. So the way I could reflect this question back is literally, you know, there's sometimes you get that intuition or the gut feeling, right? Or the calling that you are in the right place at the right house or you're not. And I feel that we're in a season that a lot of people are feeling that they're not in the right place where they should be, you know? And you recently moved to a house. Tell me a little bit about your gut feeling when you moved into your house. How did you know it was going to be a better house for you? Whether it was going to be bigger, smaller, what was your case?
Yes, I love that question because it comes down to perspective on, we have so many customers that come in. Matter of fact, just this weekend, customers coming in that are making that shift. Because here's what's happening in the world right now with all the news that is happening. We can get so busy with scarcity, with lack of, with, you know, the pressure of government shutting down or interest rates going up or interest rates coming down. When do I need to buy a house? Oh, I need to move. There's all these decisions that help you make that decision. But I believe there's one thing, maybe two things, but where anxiety, stress come from is the indecision of not knowing, of making a decision, right? I believe make an indecision, not knowing what you're going to do actually is the thing that brings you stress and anxiety. And the reason why, and I'm not a marriage coach, I'm not a therapist by any means, but I believe that that's where stress comes from, is you not making a decision what's best for your family. I believe that taxes are pushing you out. I believe that certain circumstances happen where you might have a kid and you want to move back to your family. But it all comes down to making a decision, going back to how did I make the right decision to move in the house that I moved in? It was what I thought in my heart was the best move that's going to benefit my family down 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. That's how I made the decision, and I just went with it. And in 5 years, I might have a different perspective. I believe that there's a stat that came out that most homeowners live in a home for I believe it's 5 to 7 years. I need to look at that again, but 5 to 7 years, and then you want to move into something else.
That is the average. Yeah, I absolutely love that. And it's true. I mean, most people don't want to be in the same place because then they start feeling stuck. Right. However, on the other hand, you do have that occasional people that have been in that same house for 25 years. But those people tend to renovate their house. You know what I mean? So technically, they're not in the same house.
Right.
That makes sense because they renovate it, they make changes completely, and that's about right. 6 to 7 years is the statistics on that. However, we are in a big season of people downsizing. People no longer want the 3,000 square foot houses.
Costs too much to maintain.
It's insane. I mean, well, not only that, also is like back in the day, it was about having all the family together. Now we're seeing people moving to like compounds, right? Where they're still together, but everybody wants to be in a separate unit.
100%.
I mean, how many customers have we had like that? That, hey, I'm gonna buy a 1,200 square foot house, but then we're gonna buy 2 or 3 700 square foot homes, and we're just gonna put them in a compound, right? We held those Indians. What are they doing? They're doing a compound of like 20 or something.
20 on the same property. I've seen it all over, and we're getting stories in. Even I was having a conversation with an investor. I believe it was this week. I think it might have been yesterday. We're talking about why are the reasons people are downsizing? Why are you going to an 800 square feet or 1,400 square feet versus 3,000? Like, you're cutting half the things down. Well, the stories that when I'm talking to people is like, they've got 4 bedrooms, but they're only using 1 bedroom, the kitchen, and the living room. So at the end of the day, what are you normally, like, the people that are retired, what are those families even needing? Well, they want to get closer to family because they figured out that being around family is the most important. It's not about like having 4 extra bedrooms that you're having to pay to put furniture in, to pay to heat and cool them. Like, that's not the thing anymore. The thing is about family trips. It's about hanging around family. It's about inviting them. It's the old days are coming back around. So where this is the future, because the conversation we were having with the investor was that the property taxes in these homes are going up every year. It's pushing people, the affordability out. Like, in order to own a $500,000 house, you've got to be making like 175 to a $250,000. Of course, both spouses, but you've got to be making $250,000 just in order to pay the property taxes, the insurance, and the mortgage, because of how ridiculous everything is getting. So in order to afford a new entry home, like for a first time home buyer, you're going to have to, like, your entry cost can't be over 150 to 200,000. Like, it's downsizing this, but the quality of life perspective, my perspective is that there's going to be a new way of life that is moving in, that if you don't downsize, you're going to get pushed out because of the economy, where everything's going.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. I mean, can you afford a $500,000 house? Yes. However, you're gonna work to pay the house, so you're not gonna work to like have fulfillment, have the weekend getaways, have the occasional vacation.
Right.
You're not gonna have none of that. You're gonna work to pay the bills, and that's about it, right? So that's why a lot of people are
I
looking.
want to actually look up a stat, because this will help you guys. What's the average home? Let's do average person, or let's do what's the average family spending for their mortgage out of their monthly check. And I guarantee it used to be 40%. And this can go for renting or for home ownership. I believe home ownership is the key. Home ownership is the goal. If you're renting right now, it's working towards that goal, because if you're renting, you are spending and you're paying for someone's mortgage, because an investor was smart. He went and bought a piece of property, 10, 15, or 100 acres. He worked up towards that. That's something you don't gain overnight. You work up towards that. You put money in savings and you work up towards a goal. But the goal is home ownership. That is the smartest. So what's the average family spending for their mortgage out of their monthly checks? Let's see what the statistics is. I'm going to guess. I want you to guess. That is 70% of their check. But
It has to be. I was thinking 50 to 60% at least.
So 28% of consumer. So that's not giving me a system. You can keep going. Let me get this, because I want to get that average person family is spending out of their check.
Let me ask you a question, and I think this is it comes back and ties up to everything that is happening in the world. But do you think most people are designing their homes around their lives, or they're living their lives around the home?
With the current way that we live now, we have to live around that. Even in the Bible, it says about be the head, not the tail. Be the lender, not the borrower. That's there for a reason, because if you live around that mortgage payment, you are always going to live in the rat race. You're always going to be chasing that next payment, and you have to get 2 or 3 jobs just to pay for that mortgage. And then you literally are stressed. So you're stretched so thin that before you know it, and I guarantee it, And I'm speaking to you out there that's listening to this right now, that you're so sick and tired of living paycheck to paycheck. You're so tired of living to where you have to work 3 jobs. You're having to work just to pay for that mortgage because your friend either owns a home and you wanted to live in that, you're living above your means. So you're having to stretch yourself so thin and you're spending so many hours working. Like, this is the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. And I don't want this podcast to be where it's like, he's just telling the truth. Well, the truth sometimes hurts because I'm talking to so many families and the conversation that I'm having with them is saying, I just want to spend more time with my daughter. Like, I want to get another 4 hours. And they can't because they're having to work 2 or 3 jobs just to pay for their mortgage because they're living above their means. Downsizing means that you can spend more time with your family. That can give you that 3 more hours with your daughter. It can give you 3 more hours with your wife. You can spend that time. You can have some peace.
Yes.
And that's the conversation that I'm having with families. And the reason they're even purchasing our homes is because they want a peace of mind.
Mm-hmm. That is something that I absolutely love about what I do, and the day in, day out. We have a lot of people that have a lot of wisdom, a lot of people that have a lot of discernment that come in and we get to talk to and collaborate with some stuff. And I was speaking to this lady one day, and she's like a director at the hospital. So she's one of the top of the hospital. And I was talking to her and she was telling me, yeah, I have so many acres and we have this and we do this and we travel. And she was telling me all about her stuff. And she was telling me, she started at the hospital in 1995.
Wow.
Right. And fast forward to today, she says, I probably had 15 to 20 raises in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a different check, she says. Every time I get a raise, that extra money goes into an account. That account turns into an investment, and then we just buy property.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally how she's been living her life. So she says, my salary back in 1995 and my salary today is about the same. However, I have investment properties that pay me more returns.
Mm-hmm.
So she says, in hypothetically speaking, she says, if I were to make, $100,000 a year, well, now I make double or triple that with my investments.
100%.
Not because of my salary. And she says, if I would have started living beyond my means when I was young, and I would have kept that way, which most of the world does that today, right?
Mm-hmm.
She says, I would have never got ahead. Now, she says, I had the 3,500 square foot house. She said, I had 4 kids. They're all grown. I think her youngest is probably like 25 or something, she told me. And they're professionals, they're everything. So literally, they're going to buy a 1,200 square foot home, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's all you need.
She's going to put in 120 acre property, and she has like a 50 acre lake in the front, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful place. And I was like, why are you doing this? I mean, you have the opportunity to go in the city. You got the opportunity to do so many different things. She owns multiple houses.
Mm-hmm.
Why this route? She's like, it's because this way I don't have to worry about absolutely nothing. Bills are going to be low enough. Like, bro, she says, I'm going to live a life where I could do whatever I want every single day. If I feel like going and traveling for a few days,
it gives her that freedom.
I could do it.
Right.
If I want to go spend time with my kids, because she has kids all over the United States at this point now. They're professional, so she's like, I go spend a week or 2 with each person,
Mm-hmm.
No problem.
And she can.
And
we have so many of those stories because the other day we had a lady, she bought like even a smaller home, I think a 1 bed, 1 bath, and she came in. This is her second home. She lives, I think in Washington or somewhere. This is her second home, but it's on her daughter's property. This downsizing it is a perspective, but I think here's the myth that a lot of you that are watching this podcast, a lot of people that come in, they're on the fence about purchasing, about, I don't know if I want to live in a 1,000 square foot. I don't know if I can live. I don't know if I can do that. I believe that a lot of people believe that the American dream is dead. I believe that that a lot of families think that home ownership is impossible.
which is kind of true.
It is kind of true. There's new ways that are coming out that people can still make it possible. Because I believe over the last 5 years, the credit card spending has gone up. So there's different ways that The schools are not teaching families, the youth that are coming up, on how to save and how to prepare. Families not teaching their kids on how to save now in order for the setting up life insurance policies for when your kids are to be 21, for them to be able to afford the American dream, which is to buy a house, to grow a family, to raise kids, to go on trips, to really make a difference in the world. And for this podcast, I know that we're gonna get off topic. We had a whole topic for you guys, but I had just something in my heart say, how do you have where families can where we can make home ownership possible for the future, for your families that you're having kids right now, and I want to make that possible. And for someone that's watching this 20 years from now, this is legacy, because I believe if you would do this right now, if you have a brand new kid that has just been born, and in 20 years, housing is going to be more expensive. We know that. So I want to give some education. I want to give the wisdom that I have from when I grew up, where I was I was taught, how do you get in home ownership? I believe that wisdom, I believe understanding is two things that people are missing. They don't have that. The school system is not teaching you how to save money. It is teaching you that you need to go work for a company. You need to work the paycheck to paycheck. You want to buy the new house, but you can't. That's the thing. So I want to get into that. Do you care if we get into that? Okay. We teach like a 5-minute session on, and I'm going to talk to two people. I'm talking to the people that have just gotten married. How do you get into home ownership? If your family, if your dad and your parents haven't set up an account for you, like a savings account for you, for when you get 21, for you to be able to put a down payment on a house. I'm going to talk to you, and then I'm going to talk to the older generation that have kids that
Can set up their kids.
that can set up their kids. I'm going to talk to that person too, because I believe that there's two different things. So first and foremost, if someone has just gotten married, they're renting right now, and your parents did not set up a life insurance policy or anything for when you were born, because if you have a newborn right now, you just had a kid. If you go set up that kid a life insurance policy, you go talk to a financial advisor, and you put $100 a month in that kid's policy, by the time they're 21, they're going to have enough money inside of there that is going to grow, that is going to give them the opportunity for a down payment for a house. That is simple. $100 a month. By the time they're 21 or 24, they're going to have enough money to go buy a home so they don't have to go rent. Right? That's simple.
Yeah,
$100 a month.
I actually have it set up that way for my kid.
Yeah.
I have two daughters. Well, I have two of them set up. One is 9 years old and one is 2 years old. And the 9-year-old, when she graduates 21, she's gonna have approximate 24 to 28,000.
Mm-hmm.
My son now, when he turns 21, he should be having anywhere from 30 to 38,000.
Which is exactly what you need in order to make a down payment for a house. So I want to speak to that. The American dream is alive. That the American dream is alive more than it's ever been, but there's education that is missing that people don't understand because they're living above their means. So this might be a harsh truth, but I want, for future families, for legacies, for someone that's listening to this 20 years from now, 10 years from now, 100 years from now, it doesn't matter. In order for you to get ahead, for your kids to get ahead, you've got to live below your means for a little while to sacrifice. But if you have kids that are growing up, to set up those simple accounts so when they grow up, they can have that. Okay, that's pretty simple, right? How do you get into that? If you're renting right now, how do you get out of that into home ownership? Number one, it's going to be to live below your means. I believe that you should start, if you can start by saving $100 per week, by month, out of everybody's paycheck, and putting that into an account that's going to grow every single month, every single year, on dividends, on stocks. If you look at the average, the S&P 500, your growth is 5 to 10% a year. It's over time. But you got to start somewhere. $100 a month. You've got to start saving. You got to start putting back. And you've got to start investing in your future for your kids, because when they get up, they can start investing in a house. For the generation that is ready to retire, is now take this education, educate your kids, your grandkids on how to invest early.
And I think something that's very important. Go ahead. something that's very, very important for our older generations. Come and show our kids, the younger generations, what has happened in the years. I mean, you guys lived through this whole thing. It's not something that is fake or something that is not true, but you guys lived through this,
100%.
right? How much did a house cost when you were young?
40,000,
Right?
It might be 89,000.
Where are you at now? How much was your down payment before? Where are you at now? Everything gets true. I mean, everything gets more expensive. I mean, back in the day, we were doing this comprehension, and it was like, okay, when my dad was young, he was telling me, yeah, you used to make about $1 an hour. He said, okay, well, 1 hour equivalated to like 5 or 6 gallons of milk. Nowadays, the actual per hour rate, it's like minimum wage right now is like $8, bro. If you think about it, like you probably buy a gallon and a half of milk.
Yep.
Maybe. But that's kind of the inflation where it's been. Like back in the day, you made it $1 per hour. You could buy 5 gallons of milk. Nowadays, you make $8 an hour, but you can only get maybe 2 gallons of milk. That's how you can see the difference, and that's the same thing with housing.
Same thing. It all comes down with, how do I get out of the rat race? How do I get away from, maybe you're renting right now? How do I get away from that? How do I get a home? I believe that's every American's dream, is to own a home. And right now, if you look out there, it makes it look like it's impossible. But there's a beginning, and there's where you have to start investing. You got to start putting money back. There is all these things. There's all these different ways of owning a home. You can go down to a tiny home, 300 square feet, or you can have all these investments. But I hope did I make that clear on, as far as like, if you have kids that are just being born, set up an account for them, invest $10, $50, $100. They're gonna, by the time they're 21, they're gonna have enough money to put down on the home. Yeah. That's creating a legacy for your kids. And educate people around you, people that are watching this. Share this with someone to educate them, because I want the American dream to be alive more than ever, because I believe the future is bright. I believe that you don't have to live paycheck to paycheck, where you're always stressed out. You don't always know how to make the next move. I don't know what to do. I need to make sure that my family's good. Live below your means. Live below your means always. No matter what, live below your means. Live 30% of your paycheck if you can. Don't go buy. Your neighbor might have the $100,000 truck. If you can't afford that right now, like, save back, put back, invest in investments, so the investments pay for your liabilities. You have assets and liabilities. Super simple. A lot of this education is not being taught in the school systems. It's not being taught in the world, in today's world, because they want you to stay broke. I don't care I don't care. That's my belief. A lot of you might not believe in that, but I believe the world wants to keep you broke, because they can have control over you. That is just the truth, because if they can keep control of you, you always have to come back to them. You always have to depend on them. I believe in saving. I believe in investing. If I showed you my investment accounts today, this is not to brag. Over the last month, it's made me 20%. It is literally as simple as, we're about to have a kid join the podcast. That if you teach your kids investments, if you teach your kids to look at the S&P 500 over the last 10 years, it has grown over 5 to 7%. I think he wants to come on the podcast. Come on the podcast. Man, come on. Adderley, quarterly. Come here. All right, he doesn't want to come on the podcast. Literally as simple as, teach your kids to invest, live below your means, and educate them on the future. Home ownership is possible for the American dream.
What would you tell everybody that is feeling that they're in the rat race right now? How can they just get started, as far as like, I want to talk to someone just to make sure that we have the right decision, or we're creating the right decision? How can they get in contact with you?
Number one, reach out to my home expert. If you want to, I think the best thing in the future, I want to do something where we're doing educational classes, where we can educate the future, which is Saddlebrook University. I believe that that's going to be a thing one day. For the younger generation, if you're someone that wants something for your younger generation, for the kids to learn, Saddlebrook University, I believe, is going to be the edge that will differentiate us from all these other home builders out there. I want to educate the young people. I want to educate the people that don't get that in our school systems. that, and if I could tell somebody something like a little bit like advice on making decisions is what's best for you and your family.
I love that.
How do I make an investment right now that's going to affect my future family in the future in 10 years? Because of the decision that I make today, what's that going to do for the future self? That is what I would tell everyone is to make that decision today, because they say, when's the best time to plant a tree? Well, it was 30 years ago, but the best time now is today. And that's what I tell everyone. It's like, make a decision.
I absolutely love that. Thank you, Kyler. You heard the man. Guys, it's time for you to make a decision. It's time for you to plant that tree today. And there's not a better time than today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. Thank you guys for listening to the Tiny Home Podcast. I want you guys to stick around to subscribe to the podcast, because I told the team, and I tell this on every podcast, we've got a new product line that's coming out that's going to be revolutionary, and it's tying back to the same exact conversation we had today about bringing the American dream back alive. And this is going to bring it back alive, because I've been talking to realtors. I've been talking to the team about this project that we're doing that's going to make the future bright again. And it's going to be affordable. It's going to be something that gains value over time. I can't wait to bring this alive. This is going to be 2026. We're going to be shooting this probably, and I might do this January 1st, because I'm super excited about this. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast, hit that bell, whatever it is, notification, because January 1st, team, make sure that we send this out January 1st. We're going to be launching this brand new product that is going to bring the American dream back alive. And again, thank you guys for listening to Young CEO, the Tiny Home Podcast. My name is Kyler. This is Zeke. Thank you guys.
Have a good one.